Hi everyone, it's Shea. Welcome to or back to my channel. If you're new here, I live in Los Angeles and I've been studying Italian for about 3 years now, and I'm very excited because I will be moving to Italy this year in April. In today's video, I want to share 5 ways that you can make language learning more interesting or more fun. So this is definitely a great video for you if you are looking for some ways to switch up your language learning routine. Even though I'm learning Italian, these tips can apply for any language that you're learning. Since I've been learning Italian for about 3 years now, I definitely have run into some times where I felt a little bored with my usual routine, and these are some ways that I have helped restart my motivation and get excited about language learning again. My first tip is finding a study buddy. And if you're like me and you have been learning a language by yourself at home, it definitely can be nice to find someone to study with, or just find someone else who's studying languages who understands what you're going through and what it's like learning a language from home. I found that finding a language learning community has been super helpful. I've connected with a lot of language learners through my YouTube channel, but also on social media. You don't necessarily need to find someone who is learning the same exact language as you. That would be great, but I definitely have connected with people who are learning all sorts of languages, and it's just nice to talk with them about how you learn, what your study routines are, obstacles that you're running into, and just talking to someone about learning languages in general. So, how do you find these people? First, you could try in the comments of my videos. There are a lot of times where people will comment the language that they're learning, and I highly encourage you to do that as well. If you want to find a study buddy, definitely comment below the language that you're learning and your Instagram handle or some way for people to contact you. You could even make some Facebook groups, connect with each other on Instagram, talk on WhatsApp. So go ahead and do that and connect with some other language learners who also watch my channel. Another tip is Facebook groups. I will link some down below. Facebook actually has a lot of really awesome pages and groups where you can connect on all sorts of things. So language learning is definitely one of them. That's where you can also find some language meetups or language exchange programs within your city. I personally love using the apps HelloTalk and Tandem. I prefer Tandem, but these apps are ways that you can connect with native speakers for free. It's really easy to find a few people to talk with. You can send audio messages, chats. So that's a great way to find someone, and then you could connect with them on their social media or exchange WhatsApp numbers, whatever you want to do. And then of course, social media is a great way to also connect with language learners. I found a lot of really great Studygram pages that I will also link down below, and through that, it's led me to some other language learners. And it's kind of interesting because I feel really connected to a lot of these people within the language learning community that I've never met in real life. Some of them do actually live in Italy, so we've already talked about doing an actual meetup when I'm there. Social media is really cool because you can make a lot of really great friends and study buddies. Even though you actually never meet them in real life, I still feel really close and connected to them. And a few of these people who I mentioned actually have Discord server study groups. I personally also have a Discord server group connected to my language study plan. So if you buy my 30-day study plan, you will get access to join that group. And it's people learning all sorts of languages, again, not just Italian. We talk about resources, study routines, there's even live study rooms and live study sessions we do. So if you're interested in that, be sure to check out the link below. Again, it's a part of my 30-day study plan. And then once you find a study buddy, I have some tips on how you can have fun learning together. One option would be choosing to watch a TV series or a film, maybe on Netflix or something, that you both can access. You can watch it on your own time or watch it together, and then meet up virtually and talk about it, discuss the film in the target language, things you liked, things you didn't like. You could do this with books as well. So you can make your own little book club, TV club. You also could just do normal meetups on Zoom, or if you do live in the same city or same area, you could meet up in person for coffee, practice speaking with each other. There's so many different ways you two can connect and find ways to make language learning fun, because now you have someone to go through it with you. My next tip is a way to make language learning more interesting and engaging by revisiting a classroom setting. So as I've talked about in previous videos, I have mentioned how a lot of us didn't learn a language very well in high school just because The curriculum wasn't really productive to actually learning a language. Obviously, there are a lot of people in high school, Spanish classes, French classes, who weren't actually really interested in learning the language. They just had to because of school. So speaking of that, last week I actually took classes with Lingoda, and if you've never heard of them, they're an online language school. And it was really fun feeling like I was back in a classroom. Of course, it was all virtual, so it was over Zoom. It was a really great way to practice speaking with the instructor, but also the other students. And of course, the classes were full immersion. And since Lingoda doesn't actually offer Italian, I ended up taking classes in Spanish. I used to take a few years of Spanish in high school and even in college, so it was pretty fun to actually dust off my old Spanish knowledge and see how much I remembered. So that's why I'm super excited to be able to partner with Lingoda in this video, and I want to tell you a little bit more about Lingoda and specifically the Lingoda Sprint, but also just share my experience and how amazing of a resource it is for language learners. So like I said, they're an online language school and they offer classes in English, French, German, and Spanish. When I logged on to my first class, I was definitely a little bit nervous because I didn't know what to expect. So since I've been doing self-study, this was very new to me, but I was very excited to get back into a classroom setting where there were other students. Since everyone is there to learn, there's no judgment. If you make a mistake, it doesn't feel like the end of the world. The teachers are very encouraging and very helpful. The classes were very small. I usually had just about 4 people within each class. I found it super engaging. The classes all have some class materials that you can look at ahead of time, and that's what the instructor will use throughout the class. So you have a visual that you're going through and you're not just like staring at a teacher the whole time. They also have exercises throughout every lesson that they encourage you to participate in. So it's usually something where the teacher will go through and ask everyone to answer one of the questions. I know that may seem kind of scary at first, but again, there was just something about it that made the environment feel so encouraging. And the classes were an hour, but I always felt like they went by really fast because I was really engaged the whole time. If this sounds really great to you and you want to know how you can try Lingoda, you are in luck because the Lingoda Sprint is coming up. The Sprint is a really awesome way to challenge yourself to stay committed to language learning for 2 months. So what you do is you choose one of their languages, German, French, Spanish, or English, and then choose your Sprint option. You can either choose to sign up for 30 lessons, and if you complete all of your lessons, you attend all of them, you get 100% cash back. Or the second option is choosing 15 classes to attend. And again, if you attend all of them, you get 50% of your cash back. So it's obviously a great way to help you stay committed over those 2 months. I know a lot of people have really seen tremendous progress. And if you use my link below, you will get 20 euros or $25 off of your initial deposit for the Sprint. So definitely be sure to check out my link for some more details on the Sprint and also get that special promo. So learning a language definitely doesn't have to be done through sitting down and studying from a textbook or doing grammar exercises. Obviously, you want to use languages within your daily life, your hobbies, your daily routine. So another fun way that I have used language learning is by using recipes in my target language. It's a really fun way to connect to the culture of the language you're learning, and also if you enjoy cooking or baking like me, it's super fun to make recipes for yourself or for your family or with your family, boyfriend, girlfriend. Cooking is a really fun way to bring people together. In the past, I made a carbonara recipe in Italian and it turned out amazing. It was so good. I actually filmed a video that I never ended up finishing and editing. Subtitles are very hard for a full video in Italian. It's also fun to see if it turns out how it should, if you follow the directions correctly. Obviously, sometimes the measurements, you have to make sure that you're translating everything correctly so you get the measurements and the directions correct. It's a great way to learn cooking vocabulary, new food vocabulary. And like I said, it's also really fun to do with someone. So I would love to do like a tiramisu recipe, and I think that would be fun to try with my boyfriend, of course in Italian. And if you're interested, I could make a video on that, and I think it would be a fun one. So I would definitely encourage you to pick out a recipe to try that is written in your target language, that comes from the culture of the language that you're learning. Another fun and creative idea, if you enjoy writing, could be something like writing short stories or writing scripts in your target language. When I was younger, I wrote stories all of the time. So if you're creative like me and you like storytelling, this is a really fun way to learn your language and get practice with writing, speaking, pronunciation, all that kind of stuff. And if you don't know what to write about, super easy, just look up story starters online. So these are things that are just like a sentence or two that usually end in ... and then you take the story from there. So these could be things like, I arrived home, but the house looks strange, and suddenly, or things like, a mysterious letter arrived this morning, and it said, and then you can just write a short story from there. Like I said, you could write a script if you're more into movie making. And if you have a study buddy, like I mentioned earlier, you can write short stories together. You could even write scripts to practice together when you meet up or you do your virtual meetups. So this is just another fun way to be creative and connect language learning with hobbies and things you already enjoy. And then my final tip is to play video games or computer games in the language that you're learning. I personally don't do this because I am not super into video games, but I have heard that a lot of people really find this helpful, and again, it's a fun way to incorporate language learning into something you already know you enjoy. So what you can do is just change the language settings on your device, whatever it is. That way you can join servers that people are speaking Spanish, Italian, French, German, whatever language it may be. Like for example, one time my sister was playing Among Us and she switched it into Spanish. The chat and everything was in Spanish. If there's a game that you play a lot, see if they offer in different languages, and then it's great because you will be spending hours or however long you're playing this game hearing the language, talking to other people in the language, or if you're not fully comfortable speaking yet, just watching the chats, hearing other people speaking it. You can also watch things like Twitch streams in the language or languages that you're learning, and again, practicing in the chat box or just reading what other people are saying in the chat. It's a great way to learn colloquial sayings and slang and just conversational language versus the more formal way that you would learn from a textbook. There's probably also potential to make new friends who would probably be willing to help you learn the language as well. So go ahead and change the language settings on your games. So I hope that these options that I provided to you helped you out, and if they did, definitely like this video, subscribe, and remember to comment below what language you're learning and if you're looking for any study buddies. Also, definitely be sure to check out my link below to join the Lingoda Sprint. Like I said, you will make tremendous progress, and my link will help you get 20 euros or $25 off of your initial deposit. So as always, have fun with your language learning. Make sure you subscribe and stick around because like I said, next month I will be leaving for Italy, and if you're interested in following my adventures and what it's like living in Italy, be sure to stay tuned, and I'm so excited to share these adventures with you. All right, that's it. Bye.